Need some coins for that God Squad you've always wanted? Check out redzonecoins.com for cheap and fast coins. You can use code ZERK for 10% off at checkout. Get 1,000,000 coins for $45.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
What's going on, guys? It's Zirksee coming at you today with another YouTube video, and today I want to talk to you guys about the top 5 things that I think need to be changed in the Madden 21 beta heading into Madden 21. Now, some things I want to mention, of course, in the background here, we do have some Madden 20 gameplay. Unfortunately, you guys already know that Madden 21 cannot be recorded or shared at all, so obviously cannot do that for you guys, unfortunately, but there is some Madden 20 gameplay in the background, and I also want to mention that some of the things on this list I do think may be changed going into Madden 21. I feel as though with the beta, there are a lot of things that they purposely did to make it more of a funner game, and I think you guys will realize that as I go through my list of the top 5 things that I think actually need to be changed in Madden 21. But if you guys can go down below to the comment section and leave me your top 5 things that, if you have played the beta, what do you think needs to be changed? Now, I believe I will be having a final feedback video for you guys probably tomorrow, going over my final thoughts on the Madden 21 beta, what was good, what was bad, what else do I think needs to be changed. But I wanted to go over my top 5 from how much I've played so far. I have definitely played a lot of games, but I plan on playing even more today. Before we get into the video, I do want to give a shout out to Brian Martell for being a part of the Nota Gang. If you guys want a chance to be shouted out in the next video, drop a like on the video, make sure you guys are subbed to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and comment down below, Nota Gang. I also just want to say thank you guys very, very much for all of the support this year. I appreciate it, and especially I appreciate everyone who still watches videos this late in the year. I know we still have about almost 2 months, really, like a month and a half now, before we start to get like a lot of Madden 21 Ultimate Team news, and then of course Madden 21 comes out late August, so it's gonna be a long road, but I'm always gonna have video for you guys every single day, so be on the lookout. So let's get right into it, and starting off is going to be a big one: users. Now, I will say, I think that maybe EA made the beta kind of more offensive driven on purpose. I think they made it to where they wanted offense to be really good, make it really fun there. So I think that some of the defensive stuff, maybe they tuned it down on purpose, and I'm hoping that it was users one of the things they tuned down, because it just was not good. The best middle linebacker user is obviously Lavonte David in the beta, because he does have lurker and everything, but I will tell you guys right now, like, change of direction, very, very bad for users. Trying to go ahead, if a receiver is running left, or trying to keep up with them, it just feels like no matter the speed of the middle linebacker, or the linebacker in general, even the safeties or cornerback, like if you try to user on anyone, it seems like they become slower. This really, really sucks when it comes to trying to get a running back, if you're trying to beat a running back to the edge, if you're trying to user over the middle and guard a receiver, whatever, it's just impossible. And it's not even like you have to fully commit to one route to be able to stop it, because it just seems like no matter what, you can't really do anything. Like, the only way you can really get user picks is if you jump in front of a route. Like, if a receiver is running an in and you know they're running the in, if you just stand exactly where that route is going to go to, you may be able to intercept it, but there's no way you can keep up. You just feel really, really sluggish as a user. The animations, once you actually get into a good user position, I have seen some pretty good jumping animations with the lurker, of course, but aside from that, users definitely seem way worse than Madden 20, and Madden 20 was a huge downgrade to users from Madden 19. So this is even worse, and they definitely need to be addressed. Users need to be a lot quicker when you're usering on them, and the change of direction needs to be upgraded as well. I'm not asking to be able to cover a slant and then immediately cover a post route or anything like that, but to actually be able to keep up with the receiver, especially if they're playmaker, yeah, you should be able to do that. Now, the second thing is going to be the zones. Now, I will say in my initial feedback video that I did for Madden 21, I thought the zones were actually pretty solid. And I will say on some routes, they seem to be pretty good. A main issue that I have seen, though, is deep routes. Deep zones are absolutely terrible in the beta. A lot of the times on deep zones, your players just will not react at all. Your players will not animate at all. It seems like flat routes seem to play pretty solid for me, but really my main issue is deep routes. I mean, if you face against the Chiefs, all right, Tyreek Hill is obviously glitchy. He has 99 speed, 99 acceleration in the beta. There's really nothing you can do about it. If your opponent just decides to chuck up streaks, you're basically done for. Like, they can literally chuck up streaks all day. However, I've seen a lot of deep routes, even to Tyreek Hill, where the cornerback was in a position to make a play, and they just absolutely did not do anything. They didn't animate at all. They didn't jump to go for the interception. They didn't try to swat at the ball at all. They may even be in position to make the play, but they just don't do anything. I've also seen sometimes where maybe my opponent will be at, say, like the 30-yard line, and they'll have a streak going down the sidelines, and they'll direction it to the outside. The safety just will not make a play on the ball. So I have noticed that, yes, the zones seem to be pretty bad. And I will say that in the Madden 20 beta as well, the zones were very, very bad. They did get a little bit of a buff going into Madden 21, or Madden 20. A big thing that I noticed in Madden 20 as well with the RPOs was you could literally throw straight at a linebacker who was in a hook zone, and they would not react to it at all in Madden 20 beta. I mean, that was just pathetic. And then it changed a little bit going into Madden 20. In the Madden 21 beta, it's kind of similar, but I have seen a couple of times where a safety of mine, if I had him in the right position, or a cornerback, especially Earl Thomas, he did this before. My opponent did run an RPO stretch alert with the slant, of course, and then the stretch. Earl Thomas jumped it and took it back to the house for a pick six. So it's not like zones don't always play good, but deep zones especially don't seem to play very good, and sometimes they just completely don't react. Now, another big issue that I've seen is on read options. Now, I think you guys may not have seen this that much unless you played against the Ravens, which I feel like in the Madden 20 beta, most of the time someone's going to be using the Ravens. Well, a big thing that I've noticed is when someone runs a read option and they bounce it to the outside with the quarterback, if you take a look at the defenders, it seems like once the quarterback is about to hit the outside, the defenders, especially defensive line and the linebackers, it seems like they run at like half speed. And I'm not sure why, but it seems like they literally run at like half speed trying to get the quarterback to the edge. So I think there may be some sort of issue with that. I think run defense as a whole is actually pretty good, like especially on the interior. We see a lot of block sheds when it comes to dives, inside zones, all that good stuff. But it seems like running read options to the outside with the quarterback just for some reason glitches out the defensive line and also the linebackers where they run a lot slower. That definitely has to be changed, especially if everyone's going to be getting that free Lamar Jackson in Madden Ultimate Team. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of read options initially off the bat with Madden 21. Now, the next part that I have a huge issue with is actually switching players. Now, if you guys don't know what I mean by this, is obviously, of course, another thing on the defensive side of the ball. But whenever you hit B to try to switch onto a player that is actually nearest the ball carrier, it seems like it's very delayed. Like, it is extremely, extremely delayed, and that really messes up things. It's not an instant switch, so it makes it very hard to try and time your tackles because you may hit B and then immediately hit X if you think you're close enough to the ball carrier, but with the way that it goes, it's so delayed that sometimes you might hit B, and then it might switch you on as the running back is running by you. So it is very, very bad there. Not just that, not only is it delayed, but sometimes you'll switch onto a player, and it seems like they'll instantly just get really glitchy. Like, I don't really know how to explain it if you guys don't know what I'm talking about here. Like, if you switch onto them, sometimes they might run the opposite way or just completely stop moving at all, even if you're moving the stick. So it just seems very, very glitchy when you're trying to actually just switch players onto the nearest player to the ball carrier. So that is something that is really big. That could honestly be a glitch, not really something that they put into the game on purpose. So that 100% needs to be fixed. And the final main thing that I want to mention is going to be passes smacking receivers in the head. This is actually something that I noticed on my very first pass in the game. Like, literally my very first pass in the entire beta. I rolled out to the right. Tyreek Hill was on a slant. I threw the ball, smacked him in the head. It has happened to me multiple times, I think. Almost every single game. There has been some games where it doesn't happen. And I think it really happens on a lot of playmaker routes. So if you move the right stick, of course, it's going to move the receiver closest to you in any direction that you move that stick. So it seems to happen a lot on playmaker routes for me. Like, if you playmaker someone up the field or in a different direction, the ball straight up just smacks them in the head, and they don't ever try to go for the catch. That is a big, big issue. Now, that is something I think we've seen in Madden 20 and Madden before, but it is a super, super, super rare case that actually happens. Like, maybe a couple times this entire year that has happened to me in Madden 20. In Madden 21, it has literally happened to me multiple times in almost every single game that I've played. So that is something that definitely needs to be fixed, because that is a big issue, and that is going to result in a lot of interceptions as well, because if you're trying to fit into a tight area and the ball smacks your receiver in the head, well, the ball's just falling now. So defenders can intercept that, and they most definitely will intercept those passes. So that would make a lot of people break a lot of controllers, and Weekend League would get very dangerous. So with that being said, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video, and if you did, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, and of course hit that sub button down below. Let me know down below what you think needs to be changed in Madden 21. I definitely will be doing a final feedback video for you guys tomorrow. If you guys want to see my initial feedback and thoughts video, you can definitely check that out. And also my 2 videos from yesterday, I did actually go over the top 5 things that I like with the beta. So if you want to see the opposite of this video, more so things that I actually like and things that I think should stay in the beta, make sure you guys check that video out. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.